Hi, and welcome to Faith and Flour. I'm Robin. In today's video, I have compiled some of my best content from this past year to start 2024 with all of my favorite tips and methods for developing the habits you need to make creating and maintaining a tidy and organized home as easy as possible. I've got over 1 hour of homemaking inspiration, motivation, and encouragement to get you on track as we start a fresh new year. First, my 5 simple tips you can start using today to help you maintain a clean and organized home. These are habits of organized homemakers that really work and are easy to master. So let's get started. First, don't underestimate the power of tidying up. Webster's dictionary defines tidy as neat and orderly in appearance or habits. Clean, on the other hand, means free from dirt or pollution. So tidy doesn't mean clean and it doesn't mean organized, but if a room is neat in appearance with most of the visual clutter out of sight, it looks both clean and organized. Whenever you leave a room, make sure to tidy it up before you go. I like to think of it as resetting the space. Resetting a room usually only takes a few extra minutes and it has a very high impact for very low effort. When you make your bed in the morning, your room instantly looks put together, and taking a couple extra minutes to put away clothes from the night before and just put things back in their proper place will go a long way to making your spaces look clean, organized, and tidy. After we're finished hanging out in the living room, I like to return items that don't belong in the living room to their proper home, and then just do things like straighten up pillows and fold blankets, resetting the room and making it look neat and tidy in no time. Also, never leave the room or pass through a space empty-handed. Always carry items that don't belong in those areas with you back to the room where they belong, and you can ask your family to help out with that as well. For a quick reset, grab a laundry basket, gather up all of the items that don't belong in a room, and then ask for your kids' help to return those items back to their proper places. To keep your rooms looking tidy, it really helps to be able to store things out of sight in cabinets, drawers, and closets to reduce visual clutter, because we're trying to give the appearance of a neat, tidy, clean, and organized space. And so when things are tucked away out of sight, that happens with almost no effort. Implementing some organizational changes in your home will make tidying up easier and is something that everyone can absolutely do. If you need help with this, watch my video on organizing habits for a tidy home for 7 easy tips, and I will have that link down in the description box for you. Clean by task. Tasks like dusting, vacuuming, and mopping can be completed over the whole house in one swoop, and it will take less time and effort than you think. While you have out your duster, try to quickly dust everything from the top down, and then when one room is complete, move on to the next one. Don't do any other cleaning, just dust. There are a few reasons why this is a more efficient way of cleaning. You can maintain momentum when you carry through the same tasks in all the spaces of your home. Not having to stop and switch to a different task saves time, and it also frees you to do something you enjoy at the same time. You can listen to a podcast or an audiobook, call a friend. You could catch up on your favorite YouTube channels, and your mind will be concentrating on something enjoyable, so time will fly by and you will be amazed at all that you were able to accomplish. Also, while you have out the vacuum or mop, you can do the same. Move from room to room. And to make things even easier, use a cordless vacuum or an extension cord so that you won't have to keep moving the plug from outlet to outlet, and that way you can maintain your momentum and finish the job quickly. One of my favorite strategies is to divide and conquer, and that just means dividing up the most important tasks and spreading them out over the week to create a manageable cleaning routine. Depending on your situation, your season of life, how many family members you have, and all of that, you will need to set up some priorities first and then decide how you want to manage those things in bite-sized chunks throughout your week. What has been working for me for years is to prioritize the main tasks that I want to make sure get accomplished each week. I start on Monday with washing all of our clothes. Each family member helps by sorting their clothes so that I wind up with 3 to 4 loads, and then I've got our clothes knocked out for the week. Of course, there is a surprise load sometimes throughout the week depending on something that might happen, but I can easily incorporate that into the day, and having most of the laundry done all on Monday helps me to get everything folded, ironed, hung, and put away, and some sense of completion when it comes to laundry for the week. On Tuesdays, I wash our sheets and towels. And what I like about this is that I never have to fold up sheets. I can just take them off the bed, wash them, and return them to the bed. This really saves a lot of time. And because I do these things the same way each week, my family knows what to expect. So they bring their sheets and towels to the laundry room for me, and then I just put them in a laundry basket, return it to their room, and they make up their bed and hang their towels. On Wednesdays, I clean the bathrooms. So I will clean the shower while showering, and then when I get out, I take care of the toilets, the sinks, countertops, and mirrors. Sometimes I will go ahead and mop and vacuum the bathroom floors, but sometimes I save that for later in the week. On Thursdays, I dust, and just as I described before, I dust every room in the house on Thursdays. Always dust from top to bottom in a room. So start with things like the ceiling fan and crown moldings and work your way around in the room the same way each time, just to make the process rote and you don't have to think about it and you won't skip any areas. Lately, I have been using this lamb's wool duster. I really like it because it does attract the dust, so a little bit gets knocked down, and so that's why you want to go from top to bottom. So anything that's left will be on the floor and can be vacuumed up later. When this lamb's wool duster seems like it's rather full, I will take it outside and just shake it out or knock it against something and it's ready to go again. And I can also hand wash it when it really needs it. But I love using something like this that's not disposable and really works. And if you're in the market for one, I've got one in my Amazon store and you'll find that link down in the description box. Following dusting on Thursday is vacuuming and mopping on Friday. I find that it saves so much time when you have the vacuum out to just go ahead and vacuum the entire house, and then while your floors are all clean of dirt and debris is the perfect time to mop. And once the floors are clean, I feel like the house is ready to go for the weekend. Because I follow the same schedule each week, I don't have to think about it. These things really don't take as much time as you think. And if you break down your tasks this way, as I said earlier, divide and conquer, you'll see that it is a much easier system for keeping your house on track with cleaning. Make sure when you prioritize, just do the important things like laundry, the kitchen and bathroom when you're short on time. You can do anything that you missed the following week. And when you have a system where your routine covers something each day, if you must miss a day, you can just wait until the following week, or you can double up if you have a little extra time. If you would like more details, I have a couple videos for you, one on my weekly cleaning routine and also some habits for a clean home that will help you set up daily, weekly, monthly, and seasonal cleaning routines. We all have little pockets of time during the day when we can accomplish some tiny tasks. When you have 5, 10, or 15 minutes to spare, have a to-do list with some easy tasks that you can accomplish quickly. I'm talking about things like wiping the counters, unloading the dishwasher, even washing produce and watering the plants. You could fold laundry, take out the trash, sort mail, pay bills. There are endless things that you can do to use the free minutes between activities wisely. You'll be amazed how much you can accomplish. Along the same lines, make sure that you clean up messes right away and tidy as you go. For instance, cleaning up pots and pans while you're cooking dinner. You can make good use of the time something is simmering on the stove to get a jump on after dinner cleanup so that you can close the kitchen and relax earlier in the evening. Finally, streamline your cleaning by reducing the number of cleaning products that you use to keep things moving faster. Instead of using different products for cleaning the counters, stainless steel appliances, windows, and mirrors, use microfiber cloths that can be washed and reused, or find a good multi-purpose cleaner that can be used for many different surfaces. Another good strategy is to store your supplies where you use them or keep them corralled in a cleaning caddy that you can easily move from room to room. Always be looking for ways that you can simplify any cleaning task, and you will save yourself money on cleaning products and time cleaning, which will give you more time to enjoy the things that really matter and a more clean and organized home. For more ideas, check out the videos I've linked for you in the description box. And I have more in today's video that I think you'll benefit from, especially if creating and maintaining a tidy, organized home doesn't come naturally to you. Do you struggle with organization in your home? Maybe you don't see yourself as a tidy or neat person. Maybe you just think of yourself as messy and you're frustrated constantly because despite all of your efforts, you seem to just wind up where you started from. I can totally relate to that, and I don't think that I've talked about this much on my channel, but I'm coming clean with you today and letting you know that I am a former slob. Growing up, my mom was a very wonderful example of how to keep a neat and tidy home. She's basically a natural-born neat freak, and I mean that in the best possible way. But I did not inherit that gene from her, and I didn't have the same skill set that she did. It wasn't natural to me, and I struggled with it for a long time. The only thing I was born with was the ability to pack all of the clutter into my closet and under the bed when I was told to clean my room. Believe me when I say that it was epic. My lack of organizational skills showed up in all areas of my life, such as in school, where I frequently handed in homework late because I couldn't find it in my disaster of a notebook, and I wasted valuable study time looking for my notes. I tried to hide my messiness from my mom, but inevitably she would discover what I hoped would stay hidden, and consequently I spent many Saturdays grounded in my room until my closet and under my bed passed her inspection. If you can relate to that, definitely let me know down in the comments section. Fortunately, my study skills improved throughout high school and college. But sadly, when it comes to homemaking, it took me quite a long time to figure things out. As a former messy person, I can tell you that it wasn't laziness or lack of desire to have a tidy home. It was the lack of organizing skills, which were not a natural part of my character. My journey from slob to neat and organized was a long one with many bumps in the road. In fact, we recently moved and I still have a storage room that will give you a hint of the former slob that still lives within me. This closet really bothers me, but by now I know that if I can just set aside the time to tackle it, it'll get done, it'll be transformed, and I promise to take you along for that. So be looking out for that video sometime soon. All that to say that I'm living proof that you too can be transformed, and I think I have some tips that will help you get there faster. Today, I'm going to be in the kitchen sharing with you some of my habits, and the key word is habits, that I have developed that really help me set up very functional organization in our kitchen that's easy to maintain so that things stay tidy. Let's get started. The single biggest change you can make, and the thing that will kickstart the process, is to pare down what you own to only the things that are useful and that you actually use. It's okay to have items that only have occasional use, such as Christmas china or a pretty teapot, but if you choose to allow them a place in your kitchen, then you must make an effort to use them during the holiday season or for that special occasion. The fewer of these sorts of sentimental items you hold onto, the more likely you are to remember to use them and to get enjoyment out of them. We use our wedding china now after years of saving it for a special occasion. Those occasions would often come and go, and many times I was hesitant to use it because I didn't feel like hand washing them. Now they have a prominent home in our kitchen, and we use them weekly and love how any meal is elevated when we use our fine china. I know that many of you might strongly disagree, but I wash them in the dishwasher to make using them a pleasure and not a chore. So far so good, and I'm willing to risk damaging them because otherwise they will sit in a cabinet, and after we have passed on, will wind up at the donation center. They may still go to the donation center eventually, but not without first serving their purpose in our home. Once you have taken this step, you will find organizing the things that you choose to keep so much easier. Establish routines and stick to them. Creating habits that keep the kitchen in order throughout the day will signal to your family to do the same. Clutter attracts clutter, and dirty dishes piling up at the sink will attract more of the same. If you have a dishwasher, ask your family members to put their dishes in after they use them, whether after a meal or a snack. Otherwise, they can learn to quickly wash them and set them out on the counter to dry. We all have days when keeping on top of everything is just not possible, and despite your best efforts, you are confronted with a messy kitchen. Rather than procrastinating, I have disciplined myself to take care of whatever needs doing after dinner. Once that is done, I will enjoy time with my family. Sometimes work keeps me from completing everything immediately after dinner, so I find it very worthwhile to take the extra time needed to get it done before bedtime. I am rewarded in the morning with a beautifully clean kitchen and a fresh start for the new day. Recognize the difference between tidy and clean. Tidying needs to happen first. It is returning things to their designated home. When all items are back in their place, you will be able to clean much more effectively and quickly. That means everything in your kitchen needs to have only one place where it belongs. This is where the actual organization happens. In my last video, I shared my 7 tips for organizing that will work for any space in your home, including the kitchen. So if you missed that, I will link it for you in the description box. Create categories for the items that belong in your kitchen and group them together. Then locate them in a drawer or cabinet close to where you will use them. I recently moved our plates to the drawer below our silverware at the end of the counter to make setting the table easier. I also have things like a crock on the countertop next to the stove with the utensils I use while cooking, and all of our coffee, tea, and other beverage items are in drawers near our coffee maker and teapot. These are just some examples. Every kitchen is different, so find out what works for you in your own kitchen. And that brings me to the next tip. Be willing to accept that you might not get it right on the first or second or even third try. I have learned to recognize when something isn't working well, and I try to come up with a better solution. Trial and error is perfectly okay. You don't have to empty out every drawer and cabinet and completely overhaul your kitchen when something doesn't go well. Just address the pain points and leave the things that are working just as they are. For example, if something that you use daily is in a hard-to-reach location, see if you can swap places with something else to keep your kitchen functioning smoothly. Make just one small change and see if it helps. This is part of maintaining the space. Be patient with the process and know that you will get there. Find joy in these new habits that you are forming. Yes, it takes some discipline, especially in the beginning. Organizing skills can absolutely be learned, and not only that, you can learn to take pleasure in your routines. God is a God of order, and we are created in His image, so it makes sense that creating order will bring peace to your kitchen. Not only will it function and look better, but it will make the heart of your home a calm, welcoming place for your family, and I promise you will want to spend time in it preparing and serving them meals more than ever. Finally, give yourself grace. A perfectly tidy and clean kitchen should never be prioritized above all else. In reality, there are many things that are more important. My purpose in encouraging you to work on developing these habits is that I know how chaotic things can be when you have no idea how to create order in your home. Anxiety and frustration are much more likely, cooking and baking can become drudgery, and the piling clutter can quickly overwhelm you, none of which brings peace to your home. I know you can go from slob to organized because I did, and I'm here to cheer you on. I have many videos on decluttering and organizing, along with homemaking videos to give you encouragement as a wife, mom, and keeper of your home. I will list a few in the description box to get you going, and you'll find many more on my channel homepage. For most of us, the kitchen is the hardest working room in the home, and we have some very expensive pieces of equipment in there. And so in today's video, I'm going to show you how I clean them and give you some tips and tricks to make that a little bit easier. It's so important that we clean these items regularly so that we can keep them in good working order to serve you and your family for many years. Our oven works hard in our kitchen. I use our oven for all sorts of things. Here you can see how I prepare bacon on a sheet pan. This is an amazing way to fix bacon, but it can get the inside of the oven quite messy. I find that it's a little bit less messy than the stovetop, however, and I like that I can save the bacon grease very easily this way, and it only takes about 10 minutes in a 450-degree oven, and the bacon comes out perfectly cooked, nice and even. I use our oven to prepare all kinds of meats. I especially like it for preparing fish, and I'm a big fan of sheet pan dinners, all-in-one dinners on a sheet pan. And of course, I love to bake breads, cookies, cakes, all of those sorts of things, and I did a lot of that over the holidays, so by now my oven is in need of a deep clean. As you can see, the glass is covered in all sorts of splatters, and the inside of the oven is as well. This time where we live, I have a self-cleaning oven, but I've discovered in the past that even with that, it's best to clean the glass before you use the self-cleaning feature on your oven. It's also important to remove the racks, especially if you want them to remain shiny. If you don't have a self-cleaning oven, I have a lot of experience with that. In our last home, we had a gas oven that did not have that feature, and so I can explain as I go along the best way to clean that as well. No matter what type of oven you have, a little prevention goes a long way, and that's what this black sheet is that I'm taking out of the oven now. It is a non-stick oven liner, and so I put it on the bottom shelf, and that will catch any drips, and it's super easy to clean. For cleaning the glass on the inside of the oven, I have found that using Barkeeper's Friend works better than anything else. I've tried the baking soda and vinegar method. That does work, but it's messier and it takes a lot more time, plus a lot more elbow grease. So I prefer the Barkeeper's Friend, and it's completely safe to use as long as you protect your hands, make sure that you don't inhale it by mixing it with water so that the particles don't become airborne. And make sure that you don't mix it with any other cleaners. You can even buy it in a liquid form. I just like to use the powder because then I can control the concentration. Once I've created sort of a paste and spread it around on the glass, I will let it sit for about 10 or 15 minutes, and while I'm doing that, I'll start working on the racks. I like using the Dawn Power Wash and one of these stainless steel scrubbers, but first I will spray everything down really well with the Dawn, and again I'll let that sit for about 10 or 15 minutes. After 10 minutes, it's time to give the glass a light scrub, and this is really easy to do. The barkeeper's friend loosens up everything, and I'm just using a natural fiber sponge on the scrubby side to find all of those little brown burnt on bits and remove those. Those stuck-on splatters come off so easily. It really doesn't take much elbow grease at all. And after I've loosened them all up really good, I will go over it with a microfiber cloth just to remove the paste. Once I've gotten most of the paste off, I will rinse my microfiber cloth and then go over it one more time, kind of rinsing it. And that was the hardest part of cleaning the oven. It took less than 5 minutes hands-on cleaning time. And now I'm going to use my self-cleaning cycle. So I just open a window to make sure that I have some good ventilation. And this part takes 4 hours. So while the self-cleaning cycle is running, I'm going to take care of the racks, and they've been soaking in the Dawn Power Wash for a little over 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes by now. And I'm just using one of these stainless steel scrubbers, which does wonders. In fact, I've used it without any cleaner before, and it does pretty well, but the Power Wash does help loosen everything up and just make it go a little faster. And so if you don't have a self-cleaning oven, I would recommend using the barkeeper's friend all over the inside of the oven that has any splatters. It will work the same way as it did on the glass. It takes only 5 or 10 minutes after you've spread it on, and then you can scrub and wipe it off. It will be a very easy job. If you aren't comfortable using Barkeeper's Friend, then by all means just mix up a paste of baking soda and vinegar similar to the one that I did on the glass and spread that all around the inside of the oven. You'll probably need to wait longer. I would recommend overnight if possible, but at least 3 hours or so to let that really work and loosen everything up. And then you can do the same thing, scrubbing it and then wiping it out with a microfiber cloth. It works great too, it just takes a little longer. When the self-cleaning cycle is finished, make sure that you let the oven cool down completely. So I actually waited until the next morning, and all I had to do was wipe it out with a damp microfiber cloth, and my oven looked just like new. We got this oven back in the spring when we were renovating our kitchen, so it has only been maybe 8 months or so that I've been using it, and this is the first time that I used the self-cleaning cycle, and honestly the fumes really weren't bad at all. With the window open, it wasn't a problem, and so I recommend if you have a self-cleaning cycle, don't be afraid to use it. It's what your oven was intended for, and if you are going to use some kind of commercial cleaner, make sure that it's okay for the surface of your oven if it is a self-cleaning oven. The other trick to having a sparkling clean oven is to clean it a little bit more often. I've been guilty of this in the past because I was dreading doing it and I put it off, but this was not a hard project by any means, and the reward is really good. So it's so nice to have a nice clean oven, and I can't wait to start using it again. Don't forget to put in the non-stick oven liner. This has saved me so many times and is so worth it. You can cut it to the size of your oven so that it fits perfectly, and the one that I have in my Amazon store, and you'll find the link for that down in the description box. Next up is the microwave, and the best tip I can give you is prevention. I keep a box of these wax papers in the drawer right below the microwave so that everyone in the family knows to grab one and cover their food before putting it in the microwave. And I don't have to hardly ever clean my microwave because this prevents all splatters. If you don't like the idea of disposable papers, you can use a plate, or they make some plastic microwave covers that you can also use, and you can wash those out each time. But this just saves so much time and effort on my part, and my family has gotten used to using these. So this is my best advice for keeping your microwave clean. And if you do have to wipe out your microwave and you have a lot of splatters, as you can see, there's like only one splatter that I can see in the microwave, and I honestly haven't cleaned it for a couple of months. I just use a microfiber cloth that's dampened with water to wipe it all out, but if there were a lot of splatters, you might need to loosen those up by boiling a cup of water. Some people like to add a little lemon juice to the water. That freshens everything really nicely. Just make sure that you leave it in there boiling for a minute or so, and that will loosen up all of the stuck-on parts, and you'll be able to use your microfiber cloth to clean it easily. Next up is the refrigerator, and my best piece of advice is to go shelf by shelf, and there's a few reasons for this. It saves energy, so I can unload the top shelf. I always start from the top and work my way down. And once everything is on the counter from the top shelf, I can close the doors, and that will save energy. But probably the best reason is that if you are like me, you may get interrupted in the middle of this process, and it will be very easy for you to stop and pick it up again later than if you had unloaded everything out onto the counter and then you have no choice but to finish the job. I know if I removed everything from my refrigerator and set it on my counter, it would look overwhelming, and if I got interrupted, then I would have to worry about the food sitting out for too long. So once the top shelf is empty, I can use my damp microfiber cloth and the window and polishing cloth to dry it and get those glass shelves and anything that's on the sides of the refrigerator interior clean before putting everything back. And of course, while everything's out on the counter, I double check to make sure that nothing is spoiled or is past the expiration date. And so I would toss anything like that and then put all of the nice fresh items back in the refrigerator, kind of grouping like items together and making sure everything looks nice and tidy. Then I just repeat that with each shelf, and like I said, if I get interrupted or I run out of time, I can just stop right there and pick up the next day or even the next week. I also always try to clean my refrigerator before I go to the grocery store. When the inventory is a little bit low, the job is a lot easier. As you can see, I use microfiber cloths for the bulk of my cleaning, especially in the kitchen. I just find that they are so effective, and I like that I don't have to use a bunch of different cleaners. I only need water, and I can oftentimes just use one to clean the entire kitchen. And so when I feel that it's necessary, I just rinse it and it's ready to go. I am using ones from eCloth, and I have some of my favorite ones again in my Amazon store, so you'll find that link in the description box. To clean the drawers, I normally recommend that you remove it instead of cleaning it like this, but this large one is hard to remove from our new refrigerator. The ones that you see the produce in below come out, and I do take those out to clean them, but again, I'm just using my damp microfiber cloth. There is a window and polishing cloth that I use afterwards to sort of dry it, and then it's ready to be reloaded with all of its contents. Okay, so now you know where I hide the chocolate. Who would have thought the produce drawer, right? And I use a vacuum cleaner if there are little bits in there. This saves so much time when cleaning before I use my microfiber cloths to really give it a good cleaning. You're probably wondering what this little box is that I'm reattaching to the inside of the drawer. This came with our refrigerator and has a little packet inside that helps keep our produce from ripening too quickly. drawers, I found that I can usually remove the shelves that I have on our refrigerator here without removing the contents. That saves me a little bit of time. I can close the refrigerator doors while I'm working on them, and then I can reload them again on the counter before putting them back in. Every refrigerator manufacturer has sort of a different system, so that might not work for the shelves that you have on your door. Just be really careful and make sure that that's not going to cause a kitchen accident before you try it the way I showed you. As you can see, this top shelf wasn't coming off as easily as the others, and because I have a lot of glass jars on there, I didn't want to take any chances, so I did remove everything from that bin. So just beware and be careful. For the outside of the refrigerator, again, I'm just using a damp microfiber cloth to really clean it, make sure that I remove all of the smears and fingerprints. And then I use a very fine microfiber cloth. Mine is called a window and polishing cloth from eCloth to dry it. And that gives it a really nice streak-free finish. I use that on all of the stainless steel, and I never use any store-bought cleaners for stainless steel. I find that they cause a terrible buildup. So over time, you'll see that there's sort of like a gunky residue in different places. And if that happens, if you've been using it, there is a solution. You can use a little bit of straight ammonia. That is actually totally safe for stainless steel. I have researched it, and I had to do that in our previous home because that was the situation when we moved in. But it will remove that gunky buildup, and if you just use microfiber cloths from there on out, you'll never have that problem again. The last appliance I'm cleaning today is our dishwasher. And you may think, why do you need to clean a dishwasher? Doesn't it clean itself? But actually there's a filter at the bottom usually of most dishwashers that catch any little food particles, and there is oftentimes a yucky buildup in there. And ours also has a removable screen that I can take out and wash it as well. So if you have any sort of weird smells coming from your dishwasher, this is probably the source. So if you don't see a filter similar to mine in the bottom of your dishwasher, check your owner's manual because most dishwashers have these, and they do need to be cleaned periodically. All you need is a little bit of dish soap and water, and I like to use a bottle brush like this because it really helps me get into all of the little nooks and crannies. Once they have been washed, you can return them and your dishwasher is really ready to go at this point, but I will take it one more step in case you're interested. And just making sure that your filters are clean will keep your dishwasher running much better and for longer. So if you notice any buildup on the inside of your dishwasher, or you just want to really freshen it up, add a cup or a bowl to the center of your top rack and about a cup of just white vinegar. And then you can run your dishwasher. I like to just select the hour mode, so like short wash or whatever your dishwasher indicates. And I like to do a heat dry, and that will really loosen up any buildup in there and make the interior sparkling clean. When the cycle is complete, just carefully remove the container in the top. It will have hot liquid in it, mostly hot water and not vinegar anymore. And you can just discard that down the drain. That will actually freshen your drain a bit. And then I just use a microfiber cloth to go over the interior, especially if you have a stainless steel interior. It will remove any, sort of smears or buildup that was loosened by that vinegar. Make sure you wipe really well all around the sides and in the gaskets to remove food that has been spilled in there, and your dishwasher will not only look amazing, but it's going to smell really fresh too. It feels really good to have all of the appliances spick and span on the inside, and so I'm going to go around and polish up all of the stainless steel in our kitchen to really make everything sparkle on the outside too. Just like on the refrigerator, I'm using a damp microfiber cloth, and then I dry it really well with a window and polishing cloth, and that's it. Normally when cleaning the hood, I would remove the vent screens and wash those, and the easiest way to do that for me is in the dishwasher because mine are dishwasher safe, but I did that recently, so I'm gonna skip that today. This microfiber cloth was made specifically for the stovetop because it has those scrubby stripes, and I do use it for that purpose, but any sort of just general purpose microfiber cloth usually does the trick. Many of you have asked how I'm enjoying the induction cooktop, and I love it for a lot of reasons, but one is the ease of cleaning it because the glass never gets that hot, so there are very rarely any sort of baked on bits, and so cleaning it is a breeze. Another reason why I really love using microfiber cloths is because on an appliance like this that has a combination of glass and stainless steel, I can use the same microfiber cloth. I don't have to switch products because what I'm using on the stainless steel smears up the glass, or that the glass cleaner isn't okay for the stainless steel. It's just so simple. Plus, I never have to worry about any toxic fumes from chemicals that I'm using around my family or our pets. Well, I finally did it. I tackled our storage closet and I'm going to show you how I transformed this space. I confess to you guys that I am a former slob, and as you can see, I am not fully recovered. I still tend to conceal clutter by hiding it behind closed doors. We have this one storage space in our house, and this has been a catch-all from everything from extra shoes, out-of-season clothing, winter comforters, suitcases, items designated for donation, and even our long-term food storage. There is a closet system set up in this space, but we are still lacking shelving so that I can organize all of these things in a more efficient way. This is my Monica closet, and it is a painful reminder of how I used to handle clutter as a former slob. It took me a little while to settle on the type of shelving that I wanted to put in here, and I finally decided on these that we found at Home Depot. First, I needed to take everything out of the closet that didn't already have a home, things that I knew I wanted to store on the shelf, and just to clear the space so that we could install it easily. As you probably know, we are on sort of a minimalist journey, just in that we are trying to eliminate the excess in our lives. So I'm going to do another round of purging in here and making sure that we are not putting anything back in the closet that we don't truly need to keep. I will put a link down in the description box for the shelves that we found at Home Depot. You can also find similar ones on Amazon, but these got great reviews and they were quite easy to install. Plus, they seem to be very sturdy, and they are supposed to be able to hold up to 650 pounds, which is great because I have a feeling I'm not going to fill these completely today. I'm hoping that there's going to be extra space because I want to turn a good portion of this into long-term food storage, or what I like to call our prepper pantry. A good portion of these shelves I would really like to use for long-term food storage. It's what we call our prepper pantry, and I've got several videos which I'll link down below which shows you how we did this in our previous home. But of course we depleted a lot of that before we moved to make it a little bit easier, and once we got here I have not really built it back up again. I have some items, but this will really give me a chance to organize everything, figure out what it is that we want to store, and then have plenty of space to store it. These can racks are something that I really loved using in our previous home in our food storage area. And I have them in the home section of my Amazon store, and the link for that is down in the description box. Not only do they hold quite a few cans, but it makes it a lot easier for me to see the inventory. And also I can restock them from the back so that I'm always using the oldest items first and rotating through everything so things stay as fresh as possible. Over the next several months, I hope to start rebuilding our food storage, and if you're interested in my process and curious about how you could maybe set up something like this in your home, let me know down in the comment section so that I'll know to make more videos on this topic. There are several reasons why we do this, and we started it mostly to prepare ourselves for a natural disaster like a hurricane or an ice storm, which could prevent us from getting to the store for a long period of time. Also, the store shelves, when that happens in our area, can be depleted very quickly from panic buying. Also, when there is economic uncertainty, oftentimes there will be shortages, and we have experienced that recently, so I'm guarding against that. But also, it really helps us fight inflation, because I can save money by buying items on sale and stocking up on those things that I know that we're going to use, and that way I don't have to pay the full price later on when we run out. I also intend to use this area to store small appliances like my vacuum sealer and bread maker, which I don't use on a daily basis or even a weekly basis oftentimes. They need to be accessible, but they don't need to be in the kitchen. The other things that I want to put on the shelves are seasonal items for Christmas and other holidays, plus some food storage containers that I like to keep on hand for when I make a meal for a friend who's sick, for instance. And I have a couple of totes that are filled with extra stationery and office supplies. These acrylic containers worked great in our previous home's refrigerator, but aren't the right size for a refrigerator here in this home. So I'm going to use these plus the baskets that I used in our previous home's pantry to organize all of the food items. These containers will be great for corralling items and also helping me create categories so that I can group like items together. I've always loved using baskets and bins on shelves because they act as drawers, so you can pull them out and easily access the things in the back. I left a lot of things the same in the closet, but with everything up off the floor and on the shelves, it is so much neater in here and I'm really pleased. We still have artwork leaning up against the wall that we will deal with later, and things aren't perfect, but they are so much better, and I'm really excited to start working on our food storage once again. And when we come in here to find what it is we need, everything will be a lot more accessible and easier to find. as you can see, we have more than enough space to start rebuilding our long-term food storage, and I am looking forward to that. It is going to be a lot easier now that things are organized. The shelves were easy to install, and taking everything out and reorganizing only took one afternoon, and the payoff was well worth it. Now I don't walk into chaos. I walk into an area that is neatly organized where everything has a home. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. I hope it gave you some motivation and inspiration to tackle an area of your home that could use a little organizing too. Be sure to check out my other videos and subscribe. It's easy and free. All you have to do is click on my picture. Leave me a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, have a wonderful week.